Hello guys, today we'll talk about one of a kind, the legend in World of Tanks Blitz. It has to be no one else but the FV 215B183, aka the Deathstar. So I personally love this thing, so I will tell you how to actually play it, not to lose your nerves about it, So it is the tier 10 version of KV2, unless KV2 is heavy tank and this is tank destroyer, but they are pretty much the same. Why? Because the KV2 and the Deathstar have pretty much the most inaccurate guns in the whole game. So when you actually hit someone with hash and deal like 1100 damage, the feeling is just absolute phenomenal. So it is just so sweet feeling that you actually hit something, and the way you need to play it is actually to love it because of the bright moments, because both for the KV2 and Deathstar there will be like 60% of the time, so you will just be what the fuck just happened moment, like how did I miss that, how did this happen, you will just have full aim and the shell will just go in the different way you expected it to go, in just a whole different way, So actually, if you want to play these tanks, you actually have to learn how to appreciate the moments that are you given with this tank, because if you don't do that, you will just get bored by like 2 days of playing it, Actually, when I got it, I had like 1000 gold reserve in my garage, so I actually spent it on crewmaster, because I actually didn't play it like with 50 or 75% mastery of the crew, because I actually just couldn't stand that inaccuracy, and that reload. So my best advice to you is that actually to buy that, with gold, because you will just lose it, in the middle of the battle. It will be so slow, so sluggish, so inaccurate, So today I actually have no replays for you, unfortunately, because no one has sent me any replays, because I'm not so famous, anytime soon, and I actually don't have any good replays with it. I actually have like one mastery, but that was like 3 months ago, so it actually was deleted, and I didn't remember to actually upload it in like Mobizen or any actually a recording app, So what do you need to know about Deathstar? So it has like the biggest gun in the game. It's like 183 millimeters, so that is pretty awesome, because it is a unique tank in the game, it has that high explosive rounds, actually hash, that will give your enemy, if you hit correct, like 1100 or 1200 damage, So the most damage you can actually deal with one shot is 1625, I think. Yes, that's its highest roll. So actually it feels pretty good when you actually have like calibrated shells. I would definitely recommend that, because if you take, I don't know, Gunrama, it will just speed up the reload by 1 second or so. So it's not worth it. And if you like have calibrated shells, so it's Let's see how much. So calibrate the shells. Wow. So actually, you know, you can see 242 average penetration, you know. So let's see if that's true. Yes, 242. So that's pretty awesome, you know, because actually it is so fun when you actually hit Yagaru or E100, you know, in their bottom plate or on their sides, and you actually deal so much damage. They are so afraid to peek out once more, because if they peek out, you will probably destroy it even with AP shell, you know. So it's pretty awesome to roll in with tanks like this. So the main problem with this tank is actually the gun itself. So the gun is so inaccurate that actually it will hit almost everything besides its target, you know. And when you will, in my opinion, the best way to actually play it is not like tank destroyer, but as a heavy tank, you know, just to roll in with your heavies like E100 and those fellas, so you can actually deal enormous damage. And everyone will just get scared of you, you know, because I mean, professional players won't, because they know how to angle, you know. So when your hash actually hits them, it will deal like 600 damage, you know, and you're like on 20-second reload, and that is pretty bad when it happens. So the other thing that is actually pretty screwed up with this is its mobility. It's like it goes top speed 30 kilometers per hour, and you need like 30 seconds to accelerate to that speed, you know. So it's actually pretty sluggish, but it doesn't matter, because I like to call it a brother from another mother. So like another mother is English, you know, and it actually should be a Russian with that huge gun, you know. So I don't know, if it was Russian, I think it would be like the most overpowered tank in the game, because it would have some algorithms that aren't confirmed, but I highly suspect that those are actually true, you know, because many people actually had reported to Wargaming that like, you know, the tanks like WZ120 and 121, they actually they have zero armor with on their sides, you know. And actually their track is pretty wide, but it doesn't actually matter, you know. When you actually hit WZ120 or 121, you know, it just bounces off, or the track just soaks up the shell, you know. It's not like when you actually hit E100 in the track, you know, because there's nothing actually down, but the whole body from the side of 121 and 120 is like covered in track, you know. It's not like actually that is I don't know, it's not like the kind of tank that actually has the tracks below and body lifted up, you know. So those are actually the low silhouette tanks, you know. So it is actually quite normal to expect that will actually go through, except it's heat shell, so it won't go through. So, but it never happens, you know. It is one example just how absurd this gets, but okay. So you can actually hash T-57 heavy between the tracks, because they are wide, you know. And you actually can't do that with any other tank that I've known. So it's actually pretty nasty, you know. So I've seen so many times that it will just bounce, you know. It will not get through. But I went off the topic. So the thing that is actually the best about the gun is the damage and the penetration. But one thing you should actually know is that what is actually pretty bad about this thing? So it has AP shells for its main shells and hash for premium shells. So actually, you do not have premium shells on this thing, you know, because you will you should understand that you should actually use your AP shells as premium shells. So you know, if you cannot get through something that hash can go through, so you should actually use AP. But in most of the cases, just use hash because it's just funny. It's just so funny when you actually watch like Leopard 1 or any lightly armored tank. So specific about hash is that the FV's hash. The specific thing about it is that actually there is higher chance on hash to actually damage modules and you know just like how to say it to harm crew members, you know. So that's pretty awesome because when you just like so what's gonna happen? Or you're about to wreck a Leo 1 or a Leo PTA. So what does happen? So either the engine will get damaged, either the turret will get damaged, either anything that is actually important in the tank will eventually get damaged by FV. So it's so funny when you actually watch like a Leopard 1 or Leopard PTA that is actually driving through some valley and you actually hit them and they just begin to go slower and slower, you know, because you actually or set them on fire or damage their engine, etc, etc, you know. So actually when you do that, your teammates will be like, you know, let's finish him off, you know, let's just finish him off. And they will, because they will be so slow that they won't be able to repair all the damage, you know. Because once they figure out that they've been hashed, they will be, oh my god, I just want to get out of here, you know. Another problem with FV is that it is actually pretty much team dependent tank, as Jägeru, you know. Because if you are all alone and you have like long reload, you won't live because your camo rating is so bad. It's like I think 1 or 2, so it's like 1 or 2% lower, you know, than the, so how to explain it, when you actually have like let's say it that the tank actually has view range like Leopard 1, let's take for example like 350 meters. So this will happen. I mean, it's not 350 meters I think, but that's just for example. So what will happen? So let's say your camo rating is 1 or 2% like FV. So you will actually get wrecked. Why? Because it will spot you like already on like 340 meters, because it's just like, you know, 2% less so he will actually see you on 2% longer distance, you know. I mean, not longer, how to explain it. So you will actually be spotted on 340 meters, you know, for example, and your camo rating is the reason. Because of that, it's the reason of it. So, and what's the other problem? Its view range of FOE is so bad, it's like 220 meters I think. So you will actually have to close in like to 100 meters, which will actually be needed like for, I don't know, about 20 seconds I think. So in those 20 seconds he will just rip you apart. In the best case scenario, you will actually hit him once and you will die, you know. But when you actually are driving FV, the best thing you can do is either go with your team full front, so just to actually get there and wreak havoc among the enemy team, or just to stay behind as far as possible. Because if you're like in the middle of those two choices, you will just get wrecked. So you actually have to get really extreme, about it. So, or you are sacrificing your accuracy on a long range, so you actually won't be able to hit anything, or you will actually sacrifice a couple of your hit points, and you will be able to hit something, but you will have to be extra careful when trading shots, because every hash that didn't go through as well as it was planned, it will just destroy you, because you actually like shoot hash at E100 and you deal like 600 damage, so he deals you 600 damage, and his reload is actually 5 seconds shorter than yours, so it sometimes can be a really difficult situation to handle it. So another thing is that actually when driving FV 215B 183, so the other thing is that actually the whole team depends on you as well. So it's not like a situation that only you depend on your team. It's vice versa, because you are the most responsible for the biggest damage on your team. You're expected to have the biggest damage on your team, because actually you should have the biggest damage on your team. But when you don't, it's like if they kill you and you don't deal damage, that's like already like 4k damage less dealt, So that's pretty bad, but don't worry, because actually when driving it, you are actually driving it for the rare good moments, as I do. Because actually in most of cases free to play players will actually lose money on it, so you won't be able to play it as often as you probably want to. It was case with me and with T22 medium and FE and E100 and everything that has like high caliber or high repair price, things like that. So profitability isn't the best, that's for sure, So this is it, guys. Have a good weekend, the rest of the weekend, so have a good time. Goodbye, and I will hear from you on the next video. Leave a comment if you like the video, like it, share it if you like, so that would help me actually a lot. So goodbye, guys. As I said earlier, have a good weekend. Goodbye. Ljubo out.